All right, shalom, shalom. This is Soldier Yazaniah coming at you with another video. This one's going to be called Dealing with Cornelius, right? Of the Italian band, question marks. Also going to be dealing with the vision of Peter, right? That he had of Cornelius, right? And to those who he was sent unto, right? So here we have some ancient pictures that just shows that Jake was in Europe, man. Was in these Italian bands and these Italian armies, these Roman armies, right? Because Italy was subject unto Rome, right? Which was subject Italy is subject unto Spain, which is subject unto Rome, right? This is Saint Maurice, but this is a little further in history, right? This is about 1400s, 1500s, right? Jake having reigned there, for an entire millennium, man, right? Over that. So we're gonna go into the a little bit of history of Jake in Europe, right? Because these Christians like to say that because Cornelius was of the Italian band, that he was a white man, right? But we all know white man's what the white man is condemned to slavery, right? He's condemned to hell, man, and to pain and anguish and death. So the apostles can't be sent to them, man. They're only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, like their master, man, right? Yahweh Shai himself. So we're gonna quickly go into it. So I'd like to just opening up with just some brief history. Jake, look at this man, saucy as hell, right? Just a little bit of black nobility in Europe. It's interesting, photos to go into, right? So let's get into it. Look at that. It's cool, man. It's from this one book I have. So before I begin, I'd like to give all praises, all glory unto Yahweh, QamYasharala. Again, I'm Soldier Yazaniah. Right, so we're gonna begin to dive into this thing, man. Right, so it's the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 1. It says there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius. Right off the bat, if we look up Caesarea, it's located in Palestine, man. Right. Actually, let's go look that up real quick. So this is where Caesarea is. Caesarea is a town on Israel's Mediterranean coast, right? It's known for Caesarea National Park, right? So I believe it's actually in Palestine, right? Ancient port and administrative city of Palestine, right? And the mere fact that it's called Caesarea blows this thing out of the water in Israel, right? Because Cornelius was what? Of the Italian band, right? That was Italy was a Roman colony, right? Subjugated unto Spain, right? So knowing that, and knowing that this Caesarea, Caesar, the last name of Julius Caesar, right, of the Romans, right? We know that this is clearly evidence that Cornelius wasn't a white man, right? But he was just of the Italian band, like it says. These Christians need to stop being so retarded, man, and practicing eisegesis, man, right? This is disgusting, man. How are you gonna pervert the text and just automatically insert that he's a white man? This is just him living in Caesarea, being of the Italian band in Israel, man. This is retarded, man. They need to stop running with these mental lapses and really get the nourishing, man, and the milk. If you're even Jake, if you're not, just to hell with you, man. Right? Right, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, right, one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always, right? So how is he a devout man, right? How can he even be devout, right? When the book of Second Esdras, right, I believe it's Second Esdras 3, right? We can even pull that up, right? Second Esdras 3:36, right? Because how can he be a devout man, right? When no heathen has done his precepts, right? It says, so this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen, right? Not the heathen. So he can't be a heathen, man. Right, he has to be an Israelite because Israel's the only one who's kept his precepts, right? That was given this knowledge, right, and can be devout to the Most High God, right? That can even draw nigh unto the Most High God. So we gotta stop. Eisegeting this, man, and inserting it into the text, right? It's not saying that. So back to Acts, right? He saw in a vision, evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of God coming into him, saying unto him, Cornelius. When he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, Lord? He said unto him, Thy prayers and thy alms are come up for a memorial before God. You see that? Thy prayers, man. This is the Most High say he doesn't hear prayers of sinners, right? And by nature, these wretched nations that were cast out of the land, right, for their sin, right, for their atrocities, right. When you read about that in the book of Deuteronomy, book of Joshua, right, they're cast out of the land for their atrocities, so the Most High can give us their land, right. But this man here is devout and praying and being heard, right? He has to be an Israelite, man. That's just off the top. So that's foundational. You can't evade that, man. You must include that when you're speaking about Cornelius. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. He lodgeth with one Simon tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do. And when the angel spake unto Cornelius, was departed, he called two of his household servants, a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually. When he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. And on the morrow, as they went on their journey and nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour, and he became very hungry and would have eaten. While they made ready, he fell into a trance and saw heaven open, open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts and of the earth, right? Four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said not, So, Lord, for I have not eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. You see that? So Peter got this vision, right, that he was supposed to go into Cornelius, right? But he didn't realize it at the time because it came in the form of a sheet, right, lowering down, right, and at the corners of it, right, all manner of four-footed beasts, right, and Peter, thinking that he can't eat any obviously can't eat anything uncommon or unclean or anything that the dietary law prohibits, right? Now knowing that these beasts were men, man, right? Because when you're without the law, when you're without understanding, right, without identity, you're equated to that of a beast, man, right? That's the vision of Peter, right? That's him seeing all these four-footed animals, right? Because they were Gentiles, right? That he's supposed to go unto, right? He is sent unto the Jew, but Jews can be Gentiles as well, right? Because there's no difference between Jew and Gentile, right? They're all under sin. None is righteous, not one, right? Our righteousness again is as filthy rags, right? So Peter going to this Jew, right, doesn't know that these animals that he's seeing in his vision, right, are beasts. You see? So we're going to get some precepts on that men are equated to beasts, right? Especially when you're without the law, right? So let's get the book of, Psalms chapter 49 and verse 20. See, man that is in honor and understand not, see, is like the beasts that perish, right? That is a man without honor. That is a man without understanding, right? That is a man without the breath and life in his nostrils, man, right? These holy commandments. He's likened unto a four-footed beast, right? Because that's all he's doing. He's just carnally. He's just eating, drinking, right? Pleasures of the flesh. He's just one-dimensional, right? Just like the beasts that perish, that go down into the ground, into the dust, right? So that is the vision that Peter is seeing, right? He's seeing men without honor. So let's get 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 8, verse 29. And it says, "Let it not be thy will to destroy them which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them that have clearly taught thy law." You see that? It's the law that differentiates, right? That holiness from the Most High God, that living water, right? That quickeneth, man. Accompanied with faith of Yahushua, right? That's what makes you alive in this thing. That's what makes you alive on earth, right? That's what separates you from the nations, which are just beasts, right? Just runaway slaves, right? Runaway pets, if you will, right? That's what separates you from them and the animals, man. Understanding that higher intelligence, right? Morality, principle, and order, right? That's what we need, right? This law, because the law is life, man, right? Let's get even Romans says it, right? We can quickly go to Romans, right? Salakia. I believe it's like Romans 1. Romans 1, verse 22. Let's see. Yeah, we can go to 22. Professing themselves to be wise. This book of Romans 1, verse 22. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into the image like the corruptible man. And to birds, see that image is made like to corruptible man, right? Because man, the common man, right? The things that are common and unclean, right? Like the heathen, right? Which we so covetously ventured after, right? We changed our glory, right? To birds and four-footed beasts and to creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their heart to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, right? That is being without the law, being without understanding, right? That's the vision of Peter. That's what Peter's seeing. Men in dishonor, right? Let's go back to Acts 10, right? So let's go back down. Peter said, "No, Lord, I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean." See, he's never consumed these, man. But it's just a mechanism how the Lord is teaching him that, you know, he's gonna have mercy upon whom he has mercy, right? And not physically about eating unclean food, right? Because even that's just a similitude, right? Because that's how the Lord speaks, right? Double to that which is, right? So same way you would detest, you know, pork or shrimp, is the same way you would detest a Gentile, right? One that is common and unclean, right? Because if you even look in Galatians, right, chapter 2, verse 14, we can go 2 in verse 9, says, "And when James and Cephas and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision," right? James, Cephas, and John. So it says only they that would that we should remember the poor, the same which I was also forward to do. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. See, he's being blamed for something. Let's see what they're being blamed for. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. Right? So he withdrew himself. Let me see who was to blame here. It was Peter. I don't know if James was also to be blamed. I don't want to bear false witness. But before that certain came from James, that certain. So I believe he's talking about before that certain of James and John, perceived the grace upon Paul, right? So he's speaking about Peter here. For before that certain came from James, he did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. And the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with the dissimulation. See that? He was fearing the rebuke and the chastening of the Jew. Well, I wouldn't even say chastening. He was fearing the persecution of the Jews upon the apostles, right? For communing and treating the Gentiles as if they were Jews, because they were Jews. But the Most High wasn't giving them an understanding because he blinded parts of Israel, right? But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if thou, being a Jew, livest as the manners of the Gentiles, not as do the Jews, why compellest thou the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Right? Because they were hating the Gentiles in their hearts, which were their family, which were their brothers, right? So they're living basically after the Gentiles in the vanity of their mind, right? While compelling, this blame is obviously falling upon Peter, right? Which explains the vision of Peter, right? Because he's treating them as if they were unclean, right? Livest after the manner of the Gentiles, and not as do the Jews. Why compel the Gentiles to live as the Jews? He's just being hypocrites, man, right? Why are you telling the Jews to live as Jews when you're living as the Gentiles by fearing the persecution of the Jews, right? For communing with the Gentiles, hating the Gentiles in your heart, man, which are your brothers or your family, man, right? That's off. So let's go to let's go to the book of Job. Let's go to the book of Job. Right? That explains that vision, man. Right? Well, it's gonna further consecrate it, right? When we get down to it, when it literally says that they are men, right? But that's good for right now to touch upon later. Right? So this book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers. So this is critical in understanding why Cornelius is of the Italian band, right? You have to do a diligent search, right, unto your forefathers, because if you do not, then you are you be doing yourself a misservice, because you'll be believing that which the Christians also believe, right? That he was just a white man. You're gonna take it for surface value, not knowing that Israel was all up in the Roman Empire, man, right? Ruling it at one time. We're gonna touch on that too, right? So again, dealing with these things, right? You must do a diligent search of your fathers, right? And be occupied in prophecy, right? Let's get the book of Malachi. So Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Right? So as John the Baptist as Elijah, returning, right? And then Abba Bivens, coming to the lost sheep of the house of Israel as well, right? In the 60s, right? So our heart should be turning back to the fathers now, right? We should be doing this diligent search, of our forefathers, so we're not turned about with every wind of doctrine, right? Because the Most High will choose your delusions, man, right? And delusions of grandeur, right? This utopic society that they push. It's easy to drink of that wretched wine, right? So we have to look up these things, man. We have to go into it. So let's get Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? For by it the elders obtained a good report. So this is this history we're about to go into, right, is the substance of things that weren't seen, man, that weren't evident, right, but now are seen, right? So now we had faith, we hoped, and now we know, right? So we're gonna know through the Spirit and power, right? So let's we go into a little bit of history. We're gonna go into a little bit of history right now. So this is skyhistory.co.uk, right? And it's gonna be about. So the headline is Severus, Rome's first African emperor, right? Because this concept of Jake being in Europe, right, is completely taboo in our society, man. Right? In this white supremacist society that we live in, right? This evil, wicked day and age, right, that we live in, that the black man can't be anything less than a nigga, right? Or near anything more than a nigga, man, right? Less or more, right? This wretched society pushes this ideology on us, right? That because he's in the Italian band, he's not an Israelite, he's not black. Because they were some of them were going to Asia Minor, and some of the apostles were going to all these places, right? To Scythians and barbarians and Greeks, right? Because they're going to these places, they all have to be white people, right? No, man, that's complete degrading of your mind and misuse of valuable information, such as the scriptures, man. That's a gross misuse, right? So let's get into it. In AD 193, Lucius Septimius Severus was named ruler of the Roman Empire. In doing so, became Rome's first African empire. After emerging victorious from a period of civil war, Severus expanded the empire to new heights, ushered in a period of imperial transformation, and founded a dynasty, right? A dynasty that led all the way up to where? To what? To the Moors, right? I would say to the Moors, but it led to just a dynasty of his throne, right? This is when Rome fell, and Israel was all up in Rome, but still being niggas, man, right? Still being Gentiles, right? So it says Severus rose to the ranks of circus, right? Honor of public office held by aspiring Roman politicians, gaining entry into Rome Senate in AD 170, being appointed Legatus, a senior position in the Roman army in AD 173, after his cousin became proconsul of the province of Africa, right? So let's see where he's from, right? Born in 145 in the prominent Roman Libyan city of Leptis. So he's from Libya, right? That's North Africa, right? That's I think when you look up Leptis Magna, right? What do you get? Leptis or Lepsis Magna, also known by other names in antiquity, was a prominent city of the Carthaginian Empire in Roman Libya at the mouth of Wadi Lebda in the Mediterranean, right? So he's from Carthage, man, where Hannibal was from, right? Years and years after, right? But this is where he's from, right? And he's from Africa, and we had nobles. See, we had nobles in these places, man, right? We had Hannibal, right? Hannibal fought against the Romans, but the Romans sieged Carthage and turned our brothers and sisters there into what? Into gladiators, man, right? Because what city or country do you sack and not take the people for slaves, right? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. So yeah, this is where he was born, right? And it says, let's see, governor of the province of declared emperor. Let's see. So in June 193, Severus marched on Rome, declaring himself the avenger of Pertinax, and before he'd even entered in the city, was declared emperor by the state. Julianus was executed in the palace, after a mere ruling of 66 days. Severus quickly secured his power within Rome by dissolving the current Praetorian Guard and filling his ranks with soldiers loyal to him, right? African soldiers, so-called African soldiers, right? As well as raising the 3 new legions. In AD 194, Severus looked to quell any threats from Niger and Syria and defeated him at the Battle of Issus. While in the east, Severus turned his forces against those Parthian vassals who had backed Niger, right? So it goes on about the history, right, about Septimius Severus, but that's just to prove that, we were in these parts, man, right? We were in these European ranks, right? And we'll even take it to the scriptures and see that we were in these ranks, right? So let's get the book, right, of Maccabees. So this book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 10, and it says, So Nicanor undertook to make so much money of the captive Jews as should defray the tribute to 2,000 talents, which the king was to pay to the Romans, right? So let's see, verse 11. Wherefore immediately he sent to the cities upon the sea coast, proclaiming a sale of the captive Jews, right? Promising that they should have 80 bodies for 1 talent, not expecting the vengeance that was to follow upon him from the Almighty God. See, this is the Greeks selling Jews to the Romans, man, right? This is just a fact that, since we're being sold as captives, right? We have to be in their ranks, subjugated to whatever regiment we're being ruled over. And if we're being ruled over, that we're slaves. We're of course fighting in their battles, man, especially against the Romans, right? Or against whatever power, right? Because the whole reason why Greece was even in Judea, right, was because Alexander the Great, right, before his fall, and he departed his task to his 4 generals, right. The whole reason why he's even in Judea and in the Levant is because he was trying to conquer Asia Minor, right? He was trying to, and also he was also trying to conquer the India, right? He had these master plans of just taking over the whole world, right? A raging homosexual bastard with devious plans, right? So obviously we would be fighting his adversaries with him, right? That's why when you read in the Maccabee, 2 Maccabees, 4, that we're following after the Greekish customs and wanting to be like the Greeks, like the Grecians, or the Greeks in all things, man. Right? We can even go to that if we have enough time, right? So this is just proving that we're captives, right? And even Paul, we can stay in this little app here. Even Paul, in Acts chapter 22, right? He met a centurion, right? Because you're being bought and sold from the Grecians to the Romans, right? And while so now you're a captive to the Romans after you're sold, right? You are now either gonna buy your freedom or fight as a gladiator and win your freedom, right? Right, or you're just gonna be a slave doing whatever is demanded of you, right? So the centurion that Paul, when he was in prison, met, right, and then he called himself a Roman, said he bought his freedom, right? Same way, Cornelius, right, was of the Italian band, right? Clearly free, right? So this is the book of Acts chapter 22, verse 24. The chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him, right? And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by him, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned, right? Because the centurion was to commit a heinous act of murder, right? And look, this is Paul even calling himself a Roman, so that cuts that Italian band crap, right? But so back to the premise, and uncondemned. And when the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yea. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was born free, right? So the chief captain, right, he's also a Jew, man, right? He's also an Israelite, and he obtained this freedom, right? Because what's the opposite of freedom? A captive, right? He was captive, just like we read in the Maccabees, right? Let's get Maccabees 8 and 19, because this solidifies it, man, that we're all up in their ranks. First Maccabees 8, start at verse 19. It says, and they went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabeus with his brethren and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy, right? They went therefore to Rome, right? And have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, that we might be registered your confederates and friends. So that matter pleased the Romans well. And this is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tables of brass and sent to Jerusalem, that there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confederacy. Good success be to the Romans and to the people of the Jews by sea and by land forever. The sword also an enemy be far from them. If there come first any war upon the Romans or any of their confederates through all their dominion, the people of the Jews shall help them as the time shall be appointed with all their heart. Neither shall they give anything unto them that make war upon them, or aid them with victuals and weapons, money, or ships, as hath seemed good unto the Romans. But they shall keep their covenants without taking anything thereof. Right? So this is a covenant between the Jews and the Romans, right? You know, the Romans will fight with the Jews, right, against their adversary, the Greeks, right? And vice versa, the Jews shall fight with the Romans, right? So that is why Cornelius is of the Italian band, right? Because we have this league of amity with the Romans, man. Right? So that's why we're centurions. That's why we're in Italian bands. That's why we're stationed in all these places, right? Because we had these relations with the Romans, man, rising up in their ranks. If we obviously, because we're Jake, right? Well, wherever we go, you know, we're gonna need the physically dominant subgroup, right? So we'll become these generals and these ranking officers, right? In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nation of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their heart, according to the time shall be appointed them. Neither shall victual, goes on, according to these articles did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews, right? So that is why, again, we are our people of the Italian band here, right? That blows out of the water, right? So let's get Tobit. Tobit 13:3. Confess him for the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them, right? So we are scattered among the Gentiles, man, right? That's why Cornelius is coming out of Italy, man, right? Because we are scattered among them. So we have to go and preach the gospel because we are among them, dwelling amongst them, acting as they are, right? In the vanity and the lust of our mind, man. Right? Let's get that in Ephesians, right? 4:17. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened, right, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, right? That's why, right? That's why we have to go and teach these nations, right? Go and teach these other nations, right? Other tribes of Israel, right? As we're going to go in when we go in further in Acts 22, right? Salakia, Acts 10, right? Because they have their understanding darkened. They're walking as other Gentiles. Why? Because we're scattered to the four corners of the earth, right? So let's go back. I actually like this other app a little bit better, right? Let's get Acts. Let's go back to Acts 10, right? Tells them to kill and eat, right? It says, this was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what the vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry of Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged there. And while Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, behold, I am he whom you seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, one that feared God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, right? Because he was a Jew, man. He had a good report amongst the Jews. If the Jews forsake and even wanting to throng you if you eat with Gentiles, why would Cornelius have such a good report among the Jews if the Jews hated Gentiles, right? He must be what? A Jew himself, right? Just like Acts, right? 18, right? So it was Acts 18:1. After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and found a certain man named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, right? Because Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, right? That's why you seen him there. But as you can see, another man who born in Italy, right, but still a Jew. So why isn't he an Italian, right? Come on, man. This is elementary, bro. Right? So again, why would he have such a good rapport with the Jews? Was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in, and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, Cornelius waited for them, and called together his kinsmen and near friends. Right? Why would Cornelius have be able to call your kinsmen and near friends? Right? If he's stationed, right? If he's an Italian, stationed in Caesarea, right? You don't have your near kinsfolk, right? Your near kinsmen, right, and friends near you. If you're not of that land, right? Because if you're an Italian man, right, just in Caesarea, right, you wouldn't have your entire livelihood, right, with you. Meaning what? He was an Israelite born in Caesarea, right? Born in Israel. Because he had his whole family, his whole lineage and descendancy descending out of this land, right? on top of Peter being sent to him. So he's clearly circumcised. He has a good report of the Jews, and we know the history. So this is just chopped up at this time, right? So let's see. But Peter took upon him, saying, "Stand up." Let's see. 25. As Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, "Stand up. I myself also am a man." Right? And as he walked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, "Ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But God hath shewed me that I should not call any man common or unclean." See, he was calling him a beast, man. Right? In his heart, he would have, right? Before that chastening of the Lord, right? If it wasn't for the Lord, he would have been condemning his brother, right? But this is the meaning of that vision, right? And if we go to the book of Acts 10 and 28 in the blue letter, right? We go down to come unto one of another nation. Go to another nation here. It's a compound word, right? Alophilos, right? One of another nation, right? Foreign, especially a Gentile, one of another nation, right? But if we go into it, we look at Aloph, right? Salakia. One of another, right? That's Aloph, another. We go back. Salakia. If we go back, and go to, it's Aloph, go to Alos, right? A tribe. So Alophilos, a tribe. In the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, right? That's its chief usage in the New Testament. So it's one descending of the 12 tribe of Israel, right? Boom, done, right? So, and Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting till this hour, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thy alms are had in remembrance in the sight of God. Send therefore to Joppa, and call hither Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodged in the house of Simon, tanner of the seaside, who, when he cometh, shall speak unto thee. Immediately therefore I sent thee, and I sent to thee, and thou hast well done that thou art come. Now therefore are we all here present before God to hear all things that are commanded thee of God. Right? He received the gospel. See, Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I perceive that God is no respecter of persons, but in every nation he that feareth him worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahushua Mashiach, he is the Lord of all. And that word I say ye know, which was published throughout all Judea, and being from Galilee after the baptism which John preached, how God anointed Yahushua of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost, right, Wadash, and with power, who went about doing good, healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him, right? And so Peter received the gospel, right? Jumped down, and they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles also was poured out the gift of the Holy Ghost. For they heard them that speak with tongues, magnify God. Can any man forbid water, that these should not be baptized, which have received the Holy Ghost as well as he? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Lord. Then prayed they them to tarry certain days. Right? So Cornelius got that gospel, man. Got the good news, right? And emphatically, he was an Israelite, right? So we're gonna show a little bit of coat of arms, a little bit of images of our people, right, in Europe, right? A little bit of Moorish pictures, right? It just shows our people in Europe were ruling, man, right? The Jews were emphatically dark-skinned, melanated people, right? 12 tribes of Israel, our people, right? And we were up there in the Italian bands, in the European armies, right? Cooning out sometimes, but still God is able of these stones to raise up children unto Israel, or unto Abraham, right? So let's go ahead and show these. This book is called Blacks in Antiquity by Frank M. Snowden Jr. right? And it says, warrior lifting shield from ground with a polychrome lactose lycathos in six style from Cumae, which is Cumae is I believe it's a small city in Italy, right? That's Jake, right? In antiquity, man, right? Uh, so let's get this next page, right? This is Hannibal, right? Bronze coins of Hannibal, right? This is coins of Hannibal's kingdom, right? In Carthage. That's a Negroid man, man. That's Israel, right? So this one is says terracotta statues of boxers, late Hellenistic, right? This is during the Hellenistic period, right? It says tightly curled hair, close to head, broad nose, thick lips. Let's see, H.B. Walker's catalog. So that's the site of the source, right? Of Greek and Rome antiquities, right? British Museum of London, 1903, right? So this is again Jake, right? This is just like it says in Second Maccabees 4, where we built up places of exercise, wanting to be like the Greeks in all things, right? This is literally from that time period, right? This is a marble relief of a chariot from Herculaneum, ca. first century, circa, right? First century AD, right? So this is actually around the time that the apostles were going out. This is first century AD, right? And let's see, profile, tightly curled hair, close to head, broad, flat nose, thick lips, subnasal, prognatheism, right? So this is the source. I believe it's in Italian, right? Nepal's 1908, 167, 168. So just citing. So this is where you can find within the book, right? This is where you can find more of these like images, right? But that's Jake on a horse, man, right? It's called a charioteer, right? This is Jake in antiquity, right? Marble statues of an acrobat, Roman work in Hellenistic style, hair, corkscrew curls, broad flat nose, right? Again, this is more Jake, right? In Rome, right? Because we were there for a very long time, right? We're working with the Greeks, right? Before the Romans. We're just cooning out, man. Rising in the ranks. Small bronze bust of Negro Roman, hair and thick lips. Let's see, Roman commercial city. 165, 167. I believe that's the time frame that it was made in, right? Jake all up in there, bro. Terrible thing that have happened, man. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and close out there. Give all praises, all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that bronze statue. Right? This book is pretty interesting. Right? It's got a lot of history in it, right? A lot of our people, all up in Europe, man. So I'm gonna close out. Shalom.